What's up guys, Tyler here. Welcome back to another Elementor video. I am super excited for today's videos, guys. I have been working very hard on today's video, so if you could drop a like, that would really help this video get boosted in the YouTube algorithm, so thank you so much. In this video, we are talking about, there's two parts to this video. The first part, we're talking about two different Elementor features. If you're interested in that, it is going to be a custom code injection feature, as well as a custom code Elementor display widget. It is very cool. They're awesome features, but if you're not interested in that, if you're just here for some awesome effects that you can add to your website very easily, go ahead and jump over to part 2, and that timestamp is right here. But for those of you that are going to stick around, I'm really excited to talk about two different features that Elementor has released in one of their latest updates. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and jump into the website so I can show you these awesome features. So we're here in the back end of my WordPress website, and over here on the left you have your Elementor menu and settings and everything like that. If you hover over Elementor, you can actually see there's a new option here that says custom code. This hasn't been around for too long, so I'm super excited to talk about what custom code is. Now when the custom code page loads up, you can see we have the option to hit new code here. If you haven't added any code, you might have a big green button that says add your first new code, but basically what these are code snippets that you can add to your website and that will actually be injected into the parts of your website that you want them in. Alright, without getting too geeky and getting into the code side of it, let's talk about this feature and why you're going to love it. If we go up here to custom code, we can hit this button, hit new code, and we come up with a page that is pretty basic, but this is how we add a snippet. We have a title here, and this title is just going to be for your reference. It's going to kind of show you what this code snippet is. So I'm just going to put in here tutorial code, just for the tutorial sake. But then what you're going to do is actually go ahead and write whatever kind of code in here that you want. This is going to be HTML code, CSS code, JavaScript, things like that. You can go ahead and just start writing it. And right over here, we're going to have a location. So this is actually where this code will be injected on the page. So if we click that, you can see we can put it in the header tags of the actual page, which start with the open and close bracket of head, and then the body start. So this will be at the very start of the actual body section that is loaded, and then at the end of the body section that is loaded. So if you're brand new to code, I would suggest you try it in the head or try it in the body start and see which one works better for you. If there's no difference, probably just keep it in the head. And then what you're going to do is actually go ahead and write in some code. Now what's cool about this is you're actually able to copy and paste in code from other Elementor users that have written code for their Elementor website. Now a little bit more on that in just a minute. That is actually how I'm able to share these certain features with you that we'll see in part 2 here at the end of the video. But let me show you how we actually do this. So we'll just put in hello world. This isn't actually code, obviously, it's just text. But when we go over here to publish, we can click publish, and then we have the conditions of where we actually want to display this code. This is super nice because you can put it on specific pages, specific types of pages. You can go ahead and include pages, exclude pages. So let's go ahead and just include. We'll go to singular. We can go ahead and click here. We can put it on just the front page. We can put it just on our posts page. We can put it on just our 404 page. So when a user maybe gets misdirected and ends up on a random broken page, it'll actually display this piece of code. It's super cool that we have these conditions and options of where to display this code. Alright guys, so if you're into coding and coding is kind of a big deal to you, you'll definitely want to check out this feature. It is awesome. Another feature that has to do with code is actually a brand new element that Elementor added to their builder. And that brand new element is actually called a code highlight. Previously, you'd have to add in another WordPress plugin or something like that to actually make this work. But let's go over here to my computer, and you can see here we have the code highlight widget or element here. So if we just type in code and search for it, we can drag this right in, and you can add basically just a section or a block of code, and it will display it in a really nice and clean fashion. So how you actually use this is you'll go ahead and select your language. Maybe you're talking in JavaScript or CSS or HTML. You'll go ahead and select your language there and start writing out your code, and it will highlight all the different tags in your code and everything like that. You can choose to have line numbers on or off. You can copy to clipboard, like a button that'll actually copy it to the clipboard. You You can highlight certain lines. You can even use word wrap. They have different themes. So if you like a different style theme, like here's the dark theme, or this one right here is kind of like a black and the text is kind of more vibrant and lit up. They have a ton of different themes here, and then you can actually size this code box right here, which is super nice. So if you guys are interested in using that code highlight element, it is now available for Elementor, and you're not even going to have to add another WordPress plugin to get this cool code display or code highlight feature. So that wraps it up, guys, for the two awesome features. You have the custom code injection, where you can put that basically wherever you want on your website. Maybe you have something such as a Google Analytics tracking code that you just need to paste into your website. So you can do that there and have conditional logic of where you want to place it throughout your website. That's what we talked about with that first feature. And the second feature was that code display or code highlight element, and you can actually display code on your website without having a second WordPress plugin. All right, guys, welcome to part 2, and I'm super excited about this because we can achieve some really cool effects using nothing but Elementor and a little custom code that I've made for you guys. Now that we have the ability to inject custom code into Elementor with some of their recent updates, this makes it very, very easy to make these effects across your website. Now, I've gone ahead and actually made a page specifically designed and dedicated to this pack of different effects that I've created, and you guys can actually click on that link down below in the description. It's free. You'll see all of my code there. You can easily just copy and paste it right onto your own website. So that's actually what we're going to do. We're going to jump into this page here on my computer, and I'll show you how to actually use this resource. And before we actually jump into the effects, unfortunately, there's so many of you watching these videos, which is awesome, but I can't offer individual support for each one of your guys' websites. So if this effect doesn't work for you, as kind of a backup, I will link a card where I've actually shown you how to do this effect a different way. It will be linked up when I actually show you the effect on this video. All right, guys, so welcome to this page where I have all of my custom codes created. Now, as you come down here, down to the page, you can see each one of these effects has a title here, has a CSS class, and then has a little bit of a description here. Along with the very bottom, you'll see the full code for this effect, and you're gonna actually need to use this code and take it to your own website to produce these effects. So first, we're actually gonna talk about how to get set up with these effects. It is very, very simple, and then I'll show you where you might wanna actually use these effects. So for this first effect, let's actually just go ahead and create some gradient text. Now, what you need to do is actually just copy this code right here. And conveniently, Elementor has in their code highlight widget, which is what I use to actually build this, a little copy button over here on the right. You can actually just click that, and instantly all that code is copied to your clipboard. All right, now where we're actually going to take this code is we're taking it back to our back end of WordPress. In our admin panel here, we'll go over to Elementor, hover over it, and click on custom code. Now, if you didn't see part 1 of this video, these are basically just code snippets, but all we have to do is go over here and hit this new code button. We'll go ahead and give it a title. I want to make sure I remember what this code snippet is, so I'm gonna name it gradient text. All right, so once we've written gradient text there, we can go ahead and just paste this right in to our code block there. All right, once that is pasted in there, we can go ahead and select a location, and I'm gonna put in body start. I think that's a good location for this effect. Now, something that is important is the priority order of how your actual code snippets are loaded in. If you have no other code snippets, it's not really a big deal. You can make this first one, the second effect that you load in to your website, you can make it 2, and so on and so forth. Now, next, we need to actually go ahead and hit publish. And when we hit publish, you'll have a little window that pops up and says, where do you want to display your code? For me, this effect will not actually be displayed unless I call on it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and include it on my entire website. All right, guys, back on the custom code page where I share my code with you here on my website, you can see we actually have a CSS class right here. Now, this text right here, this gradient dash text, will be very important. That's actually how we're going to make the effect happen. If there are any specific instructions, you'll definitely want to read this description. Right in here, I've noted that in order for this effect to work properly, you will need to turn down the opacity of the color of your text. But that's very simple. Let's go ahead and actually make this effect happen. We'll go ahead and just create a new page. All right, guys, let's go ahead and just drag in a heading here and make this effect happen. We'll just leave the text exactly how it is. All that you have to do is take that CSS class from my other page here, this gradient dash text for this, in this case of this effect. You'll take that gradient dash text and go over to the advanced tab, and you go under here, right under here where it says CSS classes, you'll go ahead and put in gradient dash text. Boom. We're done with that. And then of course the instructions on the other page back here on my custom code page said that we need to turn down the opacity of the color of our text. So let's go back here to the heading. We'll go in and hit style. We'll go to text color and we'll drag this opacity all the way down, and boom, look at that. We have gradient text. I think that's really cool, but not only does that work for headings, but we also have a text editor. We can drag this in, and all we have to do, again, remember to apply the effect. Now that we've set it up, everything's all set up and we're good to go. To apply the effect, we go over to advanced and go to CSS classes, and we'll type in gradient dash text. And then go ahead and drag the opacity down of the text color, and boom, we have some gradient text. So that's how these effects work, and it's just that simple to get them set up. You copy this code over to your custom code section, and then you go into the actual effect and make sure you apply the CSS class just like we did right here, and then your effect should be working. Again, check for any further instructions in the description of each one of these little code snippets, but those are some pretty simple snippets to be able to apply some pretty cool effects to your site. Here's one I actually want to show you that is pretty cool. I have all of my code copied over to my website and it is ready to go. So let's go ahead and actually drag in an image here and make a cool effect. All right, cool. So I just dragged in an image here. Now let's go ahead and actually hit advanced and go over to CSS classes, and let's type in Polaroid. This is one of my effects. And boom, as soon as I do, look at this cool like Polaroid effect we're getting on the image. You get this kind of like coming off the page, and it's got this Polaroid type border coming off of it, and we can actually resize it if we need to. It works on mobile as well. You just need to resize it a little bit, and we get that cool effect just by typing in one word after we've copied our code over to the custom code section. Now, what if you want to apply multiple effects? Well, we can go ahead and hit advanced here. We can just put a space here and type in our other effect. So let's go ahead and type in some BW for black and white. We'll type in BW, and boom, we get that black and white effect. Look at how cool that is. We did not change the image at all. We didn't do anything like that. We just copied in the code from this custom code page that I have set up over to the custom code section, and then typed in simply the CSS classes under the CSS classes section in the element. Let me show you just one more effect that I have there on my custom code page. You can actually drag in this button and type in under CSS classes. We'll go ahead and type in button dash glow. And let's go ahead and change the color of the button to this specific code that I have set up here. And look at when you hover over it now, you get this like glowing effect of the button. Rather than it just like being there or changing color, you have this actual like glowing effect of the button. How cool is that? So if you have like, say, a night themed website, say you have this like dark themed website, you can actually create this cool glowing effect. It almost looks like the button is kind of neon, and you get that cool effect there. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Again, if you like these custom effects, be sure and comment down below so I know and I can make some more for you guys. I think they're really cool, and they're very, very easy to apply once you have them set up. One thing I do want to mention is if you're running into problems and can't get these effects to work, there is a good chance that your theme is blocking the code injection. Elementor's support team actually told me specifically that some themes will block the custom code injection. So what I found to work is being on the Hello by Elementor theme. That is probably the best theme to run Elementor on and to also get these cool effects to work. And of course, guys, if you're interested in upgrading to Elementor Pro, maybe you don't have access to these cool features yet, check out the link down below in the description and see what kind of price you can get for it. Like I said, some really, really cool features in Elementor Pro. And of course, if you're new to the channel, smash that nice red looking subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Helps me grow the fam nice and big. And guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. I really would appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and make it a successful week. Take care.